भगवते वासुदेवाय. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadodam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, I would like to welcome all of you for our weekly study of Sri Bhagavad Gita. So, last week we discussed the third chapter, 14th verse, and 15th verse we just did only the translation. So, we'll continue from there. So, I hope all of you remember we were discussing about the cycle of sacrifice. Annad bhavanti bhutani पर्जन्यादन्न संभवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञ कर्मा समुद्भवः. So Krishna is saying that annad bhavanti bhutani, all the living bodies, living entities subsist on food grains. Anna means food grains. Parjanyad anna sambhavaha, and how this anna is produced. Anna grains are produced from rain, parjanya. Yajnad bhavati parjanyo, how the rains are produced. Rains are produced by the performance of yajna or sacrifices. And yajna karma samudbhavaha, how yajna is born of. Yajna is coming from prescribed duties. Karma samudbhavaha. And the remaining portion, the second line says, to complete the cycle of sacrifice, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Prescribed duties are, where prescribed duties are mentioned in the Vedas, right? Then brahmakshara samudbhavam, and these Vedas are coming from where? Directly from the Supreme Lord. So karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, prescribed duties are mentioned in the Vedas, and brahmakshara samudbhavan, and these Vedas are coming directly from the Supreme Lord. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. So consequently all pervading Supreme Lord is eternally situated in the act of sacrifice. This is what is mentioned. So basically, without the Supreme Lord, there is no meaning of sacrifice. Basically, everything is, because that is the cycle of sacrifice. Begins from Lord, It goes back to Lord means offering when we offer food to Krishna, and it goes like that. So I have shown you the screen. I shared the screen also for the cycle of sacrifice last week. Okay, so we will see what is mentioned in Srila Prabhupada's purport of 15th verse, because we have discussed the 14th verse purport already. Last time we did not get time to do this. The 15th one. I will just read the translation of both the verses and continue. This is 14. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from the rains, and the rains are produced by performance of yajna or sacrifice, and yajna is produced of or born of prescribed duties. This is for 15th verse translation by Srila Prabhupada. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas. So the prescribed duties are coming from Vedas. Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Vedas are coming from Supreme Lord. And consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the act of sacrifice. So, in short, just before we go to the purport, please remember the cycle of sacrifice. We can start from anywhere. So let's begin from Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord, from him Vedas are coming. Vedas are manifesting from Supreme Lord, and from in the Vedas, the prescribed actions, prescribed duties or karmas are mentioned. And what is that karma and means prescribed action means yajna is also part of that prescribed duties. So yajna means or sacrifice means activities. Here in this context particularly, sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord and the demigods are mentioned. And now, by performing the sacrifices, what is the next? The rain. It generates rain, and from the rain, it helps for the food grains to grow. And the food grains, the living entities are depending on the food grains. And the living entities, what they do, they prepare food items and offer to the Lord. And now again, the cycle continues. Lord, Vedas, prescribed actions, yajna, then rain, food grains, living entities, offering to Lord, and Lord, this cycle continues. That is the cycle of sacrifice. So now let's go into the purport of 15th verse. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yajnartha karma, or the necessity of work for satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of Yajna Purusha, Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahman or transcendental Vedas. So what here Srila Prabhupada says, Yajnartha karma means the necessity of work or duties or performing yajna is for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is what. So basically, any yajnas, any sacrifice we perform or any activities, it should be pleasing to the Supreme Lord. And if we have to work for the satisfaction of Yajna Purusha, Vishnu, we must find out the direction of work in Brahman Vedas. So how we will know how to satisfy Yajna Purusha or how to do the sacrifice, that is mentioned in the Vedas. And the Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. So Vedas are basically giving us directions, what to be done, what not to be done. We should not do this, we should do this, like that. Working directions we are getting. Anything performed without the direction of Vedas is called vikarma or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be safe from the reaction of work. So it is very important. We should not do vikarma. Vikarma means what? The activities which are not prescribed in the Vedas, or the activities which are restricted, or we can say prohibited in the Vedas, are called as vikarma. So those activities, if we are doing, that's sinful, basically sinful activities. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that one should always take the direction from the Vedas to be safe from the reaction of work, because the reason is that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? So to be free from the reactions, because we don't want reactions, because reactions are actually binding us in this world. So to be free from the reactions, then we need to follow the Vedas. That is what Prabhupada says. Okay, what I would do, I can see only always our Rasamai Raghavendra Prabhu switches on the camera. Nobody else switches off the camera. I really don't know whether you are attending the class or you are doing something else, or driving or eating or talking or walking, or I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, during the verse recitation, some devotees are reciting. I'm sure that I know, and translation also being read. So, but from today, I'm changing the strategy, because it is not this is for everybody's benefit. We should get benefit out of this discussion. Otherwise, there is no point in continuing the study. Hmm? So we need to see everything begins from the sincerity in bhakti. Without sincerity and seriousness, we cannot progress in bhakti. This is not time pass. However, we have to, if we really want to get out of this material world, if you think that spirituality is something important, then we need to take this seriously. Okay, so that is the reason ideally we should always better to have physical classes. These online classes all started during the COVID time, that I know. However, by Krishna's mercy, we are able to connect from different parts of the world, but that should not compromise on the quality of listening and quality of speaking and quality of discussion. They should not compromise, because it's an online class, so no attention. Not only the hearing person, even the people and the person who is speaking also, he should be also properly doing justice for this, what service they are doing. Similarly, hearing is also a process. We should hear it properly. This is very important. Otherwise, I have never said this maybe for last 1.5 years, but 1 year maybe. But I feel it is required. Otherwise, this will go. We will finish Bhagavad Gita maybe in 4 years. In 4 years, but what progress, spiritual progress, we are making, that we don't know. The reason is that everything begins from the sincerity. So when we sit in the class, generally, if we go to school, we are personal. There is no impersonalism here. By the way, we are studying personalism. Krishna is having a form, and we are not the Mayavadis or Brahmavadis who are saying that Krishna doesn't have a form. We are all persons, so we need to see each other. We need to discuss. Otherwise, that's not the right way. If you go to the office also, we are interacting with people. So what the thing is that wherever other things, we are very much active, and we are personal. We are being personal into everybody. Hmm? But when it comes to the spiritual discussions, um, because Zoom has an option to keep off, switch off the camera, everybody is taking advantage. I'm not telling here only in the class. Whichever class we are taking, this is a trend all over the world. Zoom class trend is like this. Huh? So only very few devotees switches on the camera. The thing is that if we uh, don't do that, if Raghavendra Prabhu also is not switching on the camera, then I will be just picking onto the black boxes, you know, just black boxes. It is like, okay, it's a sadhana for me, it's a service for me, because I am doing this, of course, for the pleasure of Krishna and my Guru, as a service. And also I have a very very heartfelt desire also that this should be beneficial for everybody, which I don't know because of the lack of interactions. So this is something is very important. I feel if when you tomorrow start speaking Harikatha, when you start speaking or teaching or guiding devotees, or when you start taking classes, then that time we will feel. We will not feel it now. Then when the audience is not responding, when the audience is not personal, in the sense, not showing the, if it is online class, not showing off the faces. It's not to see your face or to see what dress you are wearing. This is not the purpose. This is to see if we are really attending, taking this 1 hour time for studying Shastras, or we are just doing time pass. Hmm? So I feel I say I'm sorry that I said this, but this is for the benefit of everybody. This will please Krishna. Our sincerity will please Krishna. Not that how much we grasp or how much we remember. Of course, that is also important, no doubt. There are two things. In bhakti, the intention, also our effort. This has got lot of potency. Everything begins from there. When we are sincere, when we are putting our efforts, then Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy will flow like anything, like river, like waterfall. So something we need to do, right? This is very important. Okay. Now let's continue our discussion. I wanted someone to continue reading. So we discussed till up to Vikarma. So Vikarma we are not supposed to do, means the sinful work or the sinful activities we are not supposed to do. So we have to take direction from the Vedas. We have to take means we have to take guidance from Vedas. So Vedas is our reference point. Okay. Okay. From this point you can start reading. Please continue. Please read. Someone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Anyone.
Okay. As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Asya Mahato. It is said, Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvasitam
Asitam.
Nishvasitam Etat Yat Rigvedo Yajurvedaha Samavedo Atharva Atharva Girashaha. Is it correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Adarvangirasa. Okay.
Okay, Atharvangirasaha.
Hmm.
The four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda, are all emanations from the breathing of the great personality of Godhead.
Okay. We can just pause here, Mataji. We'll discuss and then go ahead. Okay. Yeah.
So,
So Srila Prabhupada says, as one has to work in ordinary life by direction of the state. So he is now giving an example why it is important to follow the Vedas. Because in the previous sentence, Prabhupada said that we need to take direction from the Vedas. So now he is saying that if we have to properly live in a place, for example, if you're living in this country, there are some laws and regulations of the country, of the state, right? So we have to follow. So one has to follow that. Then only we can have a proper life, right? Otherwise, there will be so many we'll be breaking the laws and there will be so many problems, right? So Prabhupada says that one has to work in an ordinary life by direction of the state. One similarly has to work under the direction of the supreme state of Lord. This is very important. Not only the local government rules we have to follow, we have to follow the universal laws or the God's laws, which is mentioned in the Vedas. Simple. Hmm? The directions like like our the local government rules, laws and regulations are coming as federal laws or any kind of laws, correct? Or that there are so many laws here. Labor law is there, then there are different federal laws also. So these laws are basically speaking about what would be done or what are the things we need to follow in the state, particularly in this country, correct? Similarly, if we need that for proper living in this world or in this country, then what to speak of living, what to speak of following the direction of the Supreme Lord? Because if you're not following the directions of the supreme state, which is the Lord's law, or which is basically Vedas, then how we will have a proper life? Because that is more important to follow. If you don't, it's not that we should not follow the local regulations. We need to follow the local regulations. That is basically to have a proper material peaceful life. However, if we have to have a proper utilization of this human body, then we need to follow the laws of God, which is Vedas. That's very important. So now what is happening is that people are more focusing on the laws, of course, or more concerned about how to better my life, better my living in this world. We are all focused on that only. How to make more money, how to have more happiness, material happiness, basically. How to get more things, how to accumulate more things, how to get more fame, how to get more recognition. These are the things we are focused on. Correct, right? Everything is that is all material. We are not focused, or we are not thinking on a spiritual plane. We are not understanding actually we are not this body, but we are spirit souls. That we are forgetting. This is what is happening. So because of that forgetfulness of our identity itself, we are neglecting the Vedas completely. Oh, whatever Vedas, what is there for me to follow the Veda? It's not my not something which I need to follow. People are thinking like that. Even people are not aware about the scriptures. That's another problem. So anyway, so Prabhupada says here very clearly, these are breathing. So these Vedas are breathing directly, are manifested directly from the breathing of the Supreme Lord. So means that they are coming directly from the Supreme Lord. See, it is mentioned that when Vishnu breathes out, the Vedas are also emanating. So like that. Similarly, like the universes are coming out, the Vedas are also coming. So like it's very very, it is directly coming from the Supreme Lord. Okay, please continue, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Uh, the Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses.
Continue.
In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creation, or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of the material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as how such conditioned souls can return home, back to Godhead.
Okay, you can pause here, Mataji now. So
Hare Krishna.
here Srila Prabhupada says, just before that, he's mentioned about the Vedas, and basically there are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, and he says that all these are emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Lord. And reference also given here, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. Now, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord being omnipotent can speak by breathing air. The Lord can speak by just by breathing. I'm sorry, so there is some cleaning happening here. So maybe some sound will be there. Kindly forgive me. Okay. So here Srila Prabhupada says, one second. Yeah. The Lord being omnipotent can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in Brahma Samhita. So the Brahma Samhita says, Lord can even speak by breathe, just breathing of the air, or breathing, or breathing can he can speak through that. Not only that, he's that is the reason he's called as omnipotent. Omnipotent means he has that potency. All his senses can act that duty, or do the duty of other senses. For example, through the just by breathing he can speak, just by seeing he can eat. So how Krishna is eating bhoga? When we offer something to Krishna, we are not seeing that Krishna is taking that like all of us here now, putting in the mouth, but we are getting the same prasada back, right? Whatever we offer, we are getting it back. So basically Krishna is eating through his eyes. So all his senses can perform the functions of other senses. So like that. So that is why he is called as omnipotent. But we are not omnipotent. We cannot do like that, or our senses are not like that. We can only see with our eyes, nothing else. We can hear only with the ears. Ears cannot do any other function, but Krishna's senses are not like that. Each and every function can do all the functions of all the senses. That is the speciality. That is why he is omnipotent. And Prabhupada mentions about in his impregnation, in other words, Lord can speak through breathing, he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over the material nature and thus fathered all the living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned soul into the womb of material nature, he gives his direction in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return to Godhead. So Krishna's glance also, Mahavishnu, who is lying, or who is in the Karana ocean, uh, Mahavishnu or Karana Udagashai Vishnu, he is the creator of this material world. So from his glance, from his breathings, billions and billions of universes are coming out, and through his glances, he's impregnating the jivas, the living entities, like all of us, into the material nature. So we are saying that we are part and parcel of Vishnu, right? Or Krishna, isn't it? So in fact, from Vishnu we are coming. So that we Jivatmas are impregnated into the material nature by the glance of Vishnu. So it is like that. Material nature is Durga, and Vishnu is giving the seed to Durga. However, there is one intermediate person also, intermediate personality, who takes this glance to the material nature, who is none other than Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is the husband of Mother Parvati or Durga, who she is representing the material nature, and from Vishnu, living entities are coming, and that is coming through a glance. And Vishnu is taking or asking or giving the service for Lord Shiva to carry the Jivatmas to the material nature, because they are husband and wife. But that bija is taken by Shiva to the material nature. However, the bija is coming from not from Shiva but from Vishnu. So that is the reason we are all living entities. We are all part and parcel of Krishna or Vishnu, we say, right? We are Amsha of Krishna. This is how it happens. So everything, so this impregnation happens. Why there is impregnation required? Otherwise, we will not be having existence in this material world. That is how the Jivatmas coming into the material nature or material world through the glance of the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord Vishnu can glance. He glance, and with that glance, this impregnation is happening. Who can do like this? That is why he is omnipotent, right? Very, very powerful. And not only that, Vishnu is Vishnu is impregnating the jivas to the material nature. Also, he is producing, or he is creating material elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, then all the senses like eyes, nose, ear, tongue, sound, all the sense objects also. Everything is being, these 24 elements we call, everything is created by Mahavishnu. And with that elements and Jivatmas, Brahmaji does the secondary creation. So Brahmaji is utilizing these 24 elements created by Vishnu and giving the body for different living entities. This is what is happening. So Brahmaji is a secondary creator. However, Vishnu is the primary creator. This we need to always remember. Brahmaji is acting like an engineer, and Vishnu is a manufacturer of the items. For example, if we have to construct a building, we need water, we need metal, we need concrete, we need steel. We need steel, of course, right? So all this, how the builder is getting, or the engineer is getting, they are procuring from somewhere, right? Procuring from somewhere, like for example, Emirates Steel is supplying the steel, or through any vendor. whatever it is. So the builder will buy that and they will use these ingredients for constructing the building, correct? So Brahmaji is doing like that. Brahmaji is like an engineer. He collects all this and build the building, like creating this body. So his body is created, given by Brahmaji. However, he has used the ingredients created by Vishnu and given this body to us. So not only our body, animal body or any species you see. So that is the power of Brahmaji. So without these ingredients, Brahmaji cannot do anything. So we need to understand the position of Vishnu and also the position of Brahmaji, right? So this is something. Uh, this is something very important. Yeah. So now, and not only that, he is impregnating the. So here till this we discuss. We said creation, during creation, what he is doing, Vishnu is impregnating the conditioned souls, all of us, into the material nature. And not only he just not living there. It's not that okay, we are in this material world. But he is giving Vedas for us to what is the purpose of Vedas? So there are two purposes for Vedas. Vedas are given by Vishnu. They are basically what are the do's and don'ts. These are laws and regulations. He created. We came from him, and this is material nature. And material nature is not a good place also to live. Actually, we belong to the spiritual world. So, but he is not leaving. He is not putting. It is not. We consider material world to be a jail also. Sometimes Shastra says. However, this is not a dark dark well or jail, just like that. We have all the facilities here. Those facilities are provided by Krishna. He has arranged sun, he has arranged moon, he has arranged water, he has arranged food. Everything he is arranging. For what? For our existence, for our happy living. Hmm? So Vedas have been given. Vedas, the purpose of Vedas, the 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 normal or general purpose. First thing, there is primary purpose and the, or we can say, or the most important purpose and the secondary purpose. Hmm? The secondary purpose is for our better living, whatever being mentioned in the Vedas, to live a happy life. If we follow that, we can live here peacefully, happily. The main purpose of Vedas is not that. Main purpose is how to get out of this material world and go back to the spiritual world. That's the main ultimate aim of Vedas. So Vedas are giving these directions. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Hmm? The Vedas give wisdom for the conditioned soul to return back to the Godhead. Please continue.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires. But can I read it again? Uh, but but the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned soul to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
So here Srila Prabhupada says that we should always remember that conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. True, correct, right? All of us are very much eager for material enjoyment, sense gratification, material enjoyment. However, the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desire, then return to Godhead. What is the perverted desire? Perverted desire is enjoying material enjoyment. Because our actual desire should not be like that. It is a perverted desire. Perverted means the ulta desire. Our ulta desire is to enjoy this world. But actually, so the Vedas are giving, okay, as long as you are in this material world, you can have You can satisfy, you can do have some material enjoyment also. However, finally you can return back to Godhead also if you properly follow the Vedas. That's the purpose. That's the thing. So it is simply, it is not just a place where Krishna is putting us perpetually here. Or be here always, and be you enjoy the senses and be here. Don't no don't come to spiritual world. Not like that. Krishna is giving facilities to live in this world. Also how and what are the processes we need to follow, what we should do to return to the spiritual world. So he is giving all these directions through the Shastras or Vedas. Hmm. It is a chance for the conditioned soul to attain liberation. Liberation means going to the spiritual world. Therefore, the conditioned soul must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. So Srila Prabhupada is now giving an instruction. He is saying must. Conditioned souls must follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. So we have to become Krishna conscious, or we have to become bhaktas, devotees. And what is the yajna mentioned? Performing yajna is nothing but the processes of bhakti, like Shravanam, hearing about Krishna, Kirtanam, speaking about Krishna, chanting the holy names of Krishna, doing Kirtan of Krishna. This is what is yajna for us. If we do that and we are becoming Krishna conscious, then we will be able to liberate, we will get liberation, or we will be able to go to the spiritual world. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of the performance of yajnas or karmas. Hmm. So Srila Prabhupada is here giving, so Srila Prabhupada is saying that if someone is not following the Vedic injunctions, may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas. So this is not contradiction to what he said before. So he's saying that because the Vedic injunctions, there are so many injunctions, right? However, the ultimate injunction is smartavyam satatam vishnum vismartavyam najajujit, means always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the ultimate, or this is the most important sarva vidhi nishedasyor etayor eva kinkara. This is the topmost vidhi, this is the topmost injunction. What is that? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So if a person is directly taking the Krishna consciousness process, maybe not completely following all the Vedic injunction, because Vedas will be speaking about so many things. Vedas, as I mentioned before also, it has got different limbs, different parts, wherein some of the parts of Vedas speaks about those who are in the Tamogun. For them, if we speak about bhakti, they cannot understand. So Vedas will direct them in a different way. They will say, okay, do this little thing, you will be happy. Also, that is, making that person to progress in the line of spirituality little bit, gradual progress. So for people in the Rajoguna, there is another process. Like they say, if you want to enjoy more material enjoyment, do this yajnas, different sacrifices to please the demigods, and you can go to the Swargaloka and enjoy. But Vedas are not stopping there. So Vedas are encouraging people to at least follow the Vedas somehow or the other, even for sense gratification, no problem. But that will lead gradually to the topmost purpose. Hmm. So that is why Vedas have different subjects. Hmm. However, here Srila Prabhupada says one who is directly taking the Krishna consciousness, they don't have to go through all these other things in the which is mentioned in the Vedas. This is true. Like all of us, we would have done so many things in the previous lives. Like we would have maybe, I don't know what from where we are coming, but we would have tried different sections of Vedas, and we would have enjoyed our material, sense gratification. We would have enjoyed a lot. We would have gone even to Swargaloka also and come back, or we would have gone to different places. Hmm. Even we have taken birth as different insects, animals, and so many things, right? So everything we have gone through all these phases. So now we are here. So we don't know what has happened in the past. But in this life, maybe we would not have gone through much of the things. We may have directly come to the process of bhakti, correct? But this is not something happened um, just like that. It is because of the mercy of our acharyas, our Vaishnavas. Not only that, also we would have done some spirituality in the previous lives. Otherwise, we will not begin this life from Bhagavad Gita directly. It will never happen like that. It is not by chance. It's not always by chance. It can happen by if Krishna desires, but generally it will not happen by chance. It will happen only when we become eligible for it. Or eligibility also is in two ways. One is our gradual development and getting the eligibility, and second is that costless mercy of the Vaishnavas. So we may not have any qualification, but because of the mercy of the pure devotees, we will get that spiritual credit and we will just go like a rocket. It also happens. So the point is that the Vedas are given by Krishna, by Vishnu, or by Krishna to have a life here and ultimately go to the spiritual world and leading to the spiritual world. Otherwise, there is no purpose. Otherwise, the Vedas are not meant only for sense enjoyment. Vedas are not only speaking about, okay, you have a beautiful life here by enjoying your senses. No, that's not the way. That's not the purpose of Vedas. Okay, anyway, so let's do one more verse possibly. Let's see how much we can do. 16. Evam pravartidam chakram. Please recite.
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं
Nanu वर्तयतिह या
नानुवर्तयत ते अय्याः
नानुवर्तयि नानुवर्तयि वर्तयतिह या
नानुवर्तयितयः
अगायुरिन्द्रियारामो
अगायुरिन्द्रियारामो
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति.
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति.
Please read the translation.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for a satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Krishna is now saying here, "O Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice means one who does not do the sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads to a life full of sin." Hmm. Yeah, and living only for the satisfaction of senses, such person lives in vain. So, if we are not doing sacrifice, then Krishna is saying that then we are actually accumulating a lot of sins, right? So that's the importance of performing the sacrifice. Okay, ultimately, okay, one question to Raju Prabhu. So, what sacrifice we need to do as per our previous discussions?
We need whatever we are doing, it should be dedicated to Lord Sri Krishna.
Yeah, that is okay. And what kind of yajna is prescribed for this Kali Yuga, basically?
Our actions should be pure and which are um, means it should be in line with Krishna's devotion, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Anybody else would like to add? Ramesh Prabhu, what do you think? What is the
जप
yajna
यज्ञ
which?
सर
Huh?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जप यज्ञ
Japa yajna. Yes, chanting the holy names
chanting the
and
holy
doing kirtan, Shravanam Kirtanam. This is the most important yajna which we need to perform because this is the only thing which will work here. If we do so many fire sacrifices, calling so many brahmanas, if the brahmanas are not qualified, we will not get the result of that yajna. And we don't have the ingredients, also pure ingredients to do the sacrifices also, right? So many things are there. So the most powerful and effective limb of or sacrifice in this Kali Yuga is nothing else. Please have this in our here and here, all everywhere, that it is chanting and hearing and speaking of about Krishna, and definitely doing the kirtan also. So, kirtan, japa of the holy names. So holy names is the main thing. Holy names, and of course hearing about Krishna, the Shastras and all. This is the only. This is the most important, or most powerful limb of a bhakti in this age of Kali. Right. Okay. Let's do our purport. Yeah, please read. Somebody.
Can
The
I
Anyway.
read?
memories. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Suhas Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport. The Mammonist philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yagyas is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulations is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, the human form of life is specially meant for self-realization in either of the three ways, namely karma yoga, jnana yoga, and or bhakti yoga.
Okay. You can just pause here, bro, for some time.
Yeah.
So Srila Prabhupada says here that philosophy like work very hard and enjoy sense gratification. This is the philosophy followed by people of this world who doesn't care for spirituality. They say work very hard, get a lot of money and enjoy. Nothing else for them. This Krishna is saying that this is condemning here. Krishna is saying that if we are doing like that, we are accumulating a lot of sins, papa. So therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of sacrifices are, so different sacrifices are required. He's saying the yagyas are required. It is not just only enjoy. We need to do something also, like the prescribed duties or sacrifices by following the Vedas. And Srila Prabhupada says, if you don't follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas, then we are having a risky life. And not only that, then Prabhupada gives he says that the purpose of human form is for self-realization, and this can be obtained. The self-realization means what? Atma Sakshatkar means understanding who are we, understanding our position, our relationship with Krishna, and also to attain Krishna, or to attain Krishna finally, right? That is Atma Sakshatkar, and it can be obtained by either Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. So these are different processes. Karma Yoga means by performing karma, how we can connect to Krishna. By accumulating or by studying the Shastras or Vedas, by Jnana, how we can connect to Lord. And by performing Bhakti, how we can connect to Lord. These are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Yeah, continue reading.
Hare Krishna. There is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of the prescribed yagyas for the transcendentalists who are above the vice and virtue. But for those who are engaged in sense gratification, require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yagya performances. There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The yagya system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desires without becoming entangled in reaction of sense gratificatory work.
Yeah, just you can pause, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So what is the meaning of this? Who can explain? Who can explain what we discussed till now? This simple, it's not very complicated. Why and what is the purpose of yagyas, and who has to do all these yagyas as per Krishna? And what is the importance of doing yajna? Or is it required for Krishna conscious person also to do all this? Question. And please answer.
A Krishna conscious person is already doing all this japa yagya and all, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, of course. So here specifically, mentioned about different yajnas in the Vedas, different types of sacrifices are mentioned. We will be surprised to see the types and different varieties of sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Do we have to do all this? Actually, if we are practicing Prabhupada says that if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, then no need to go for all these yagyas. We can directly do Japa Yagya, we can directly do Sankirtana Yagya. That's all required for us now. But all these yagyas are meant for whom? It is mentioned here. Those who are
Not
not
Krishna
wise
conscious.
and virtue.
Mm.
Not those who are above wise and virtue, they are performing bhakti or Krishna consciousness. But those who are below that category, for them, somehow we need to Krishna wanted to engage them in some of the yagyas. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, they will be entangled in the reaction. So Krishna is actually helping them. Okay, you want to enjoy, no problem, enjoy, but follow what is mentioned in the Vedas and follow that, and you will get the result and you can enjoy. But not just work hard and get money and just enjoy and no you're not no consideration of any Vedas or any scriptures. That is not is encouraged, because if you do that, what will happen? Then it will be only accumulation of sins. It will be only accumulation of the reactions, right? However, it is big, and that will entangle us here more and more. But now Krishna is giving Vedas and giving options for those who wants to enjoy sense gratification, who are not yet mature enough to take up Krishna consciousness. For them, these yagyas are mentioned. Correct? Got it?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the understanding. We need to understand that. Yeah. Yeah, yajna system is planned. Okay. Yeah, I think from here, right?
Yeah, the prosperity. Hare Krishna. The prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts, but on the background arrangements of the Supreme Lord, directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, yajnas are directly aimed at the particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, the practice of Krishna consciousness, because when one masters the performance of yajnas, one is sure to become the Krishna conscious. But if by performing yajnas one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. Hare
Hmm.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So here Krishna is saying, sorry, Prabhupada is saying now very clearly that the prosperity of the world depends on our own efforts, but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Hmm. So we should not think that it is because of my efforts things are happening. There is some, there is some arrangement done by the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things will not happen. Hmm. You see, we are lifting our hand, we are speaking, we are talking, we are eating, we are walking. How it is possible if there is no coordination, if there is no sanction of Paramatma in our heart? Paramatma is Krishna, right? So there is definitely our effort is there in many in our activities. At the same time, there is in the background there is arrangement by Supreme Lord also. Hmm. And here the prosperity, Prabhupada clearly mentions about the prosperity of this world. The prosperity is not only depending on our own effort, but the arrangement done by the Supreme Lord. And what is the arrangement he has done? He has given the responsibility to these devatas, demigods. They are in charge of many things. They are in charge of, there is in charge of light, Surya Dev. There is in charge of rain, Indra. Then there is in charge of Vayu, air, wind, right? So like that, Krishna has given the responsibilities to different demigods or devatas, and their role is there. So people should not think that it is all happening automatically. Nothing is happening automatically. So basically, these yagyas, Prabhupada says, these yagyas are directly aimed for particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. So most of the yagyas mentioned in the Vedas, ultimate beneficiary is Vishnu, no doubt. However, some of the yagyas for example, to please Indra, to get rain, Indra Puja is done. And that Indra Puja is mentioned in the Vedas, how to do that. However, ultimate beneficiary is Vishnu, because even if we perform any yajna for a demigod or a devata, he will get a share for sure, that particular demigod. However, the ultimate share is going to the Supreme Lord Vishnu only. Even if we know this, or if we don't know also, if we are doing yajna but we don't know who is the ultimate beneficiary, even though we don't know also, it will go to Vishnu. That is why indirectly it's a service to Vishnu, but not directly. However, what we are doing by chanting the holy names and doing kirtana and discussing about the Supreme Lord, we are directly serving the Supreme Lord, right? So it's not an indirect service what we do. We are doing a direct service. So here, Prabhupada says that when one masters, because Prabhupada says that indirectly it is the practice of Krishna consciousness, because when one masters the performance of yajna, one is sure to become Krishna conscious, because ultimately even a person who is materialistic, think about a person who is materialistic, he wants to enjoy more and more sense enjoyment, material enjoyment. So he is taking the Vedas and seeing what all sacrifice I can do so that I can enjoy more. Let him do that. He does that for long time and long time and long time, then he will get material enjoyment also. However, because as I mentioned, the sacrifices ultimate beneficiary is Vishnu, there is some purification also happening for that person, right? That purification, gradually that person will become a devotee. Gradually, it takes some time maybe, but he will become a devotee one day. So that is the benefit. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Indirectly it is Krishna consciousness, and or gradually it will take us to the Krishna consciousness. When we become master in the performance of yajnas, one will sure to become Krishna conscious today or tomorrow. But if by performing yajnas one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as moral codes. So if these performance of yajnas are not taking us ultimately to Krishna consciousness or bhakti, then all these will become simple moral codes, nothing more than that. Then that is not the purpose of Vedas. Vedas are not just moral codes. It is for our gradual upliftment, gradual progress in the path of bhakti. It is not just moral codes. Vedas, Shastras are not moral codes. It is for an ultimate benefit. Yeah. So one should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. So this is very important, because there are so many people who are very much into the moral codes. So there are so many moral codes available in this world. So many people have written also so many moral codes. It is there as in Sanskrit also available now. It's been translated also. So these moral codes are okay. Do this, and I'm not saying what are the moral codes. There are so many codes available. And if we are limiting our limiting our progress to that, then how we will attain Krishna? So Prabhupada says that we should go beyond this conception also. Moral code, okay, moral code we have to follow. That will happen if if we become Krishna conscious. Then all these moral codes will be automatically followed. We don't have to do something extra. So we have to transcend this moral code level to Krishna conscious. So we have to transcend from simple karma kanda to bhakti. Otherwise, we are simply wasting our time. That is what Srila Prabhupada is finally saying in this verse. Okay, so I will stop here. We discussed 2 verses today. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for your um, patience and also for your association. I'm happy that Ramesh Prabhu, Raju Prabhu, Suhas Prabhu, Neetu Mataji, all of you have participated in today's discussion and reading and discussing. So thank you. So we'll let us continue like this for the remaining all the classes also. Okay. So that will inspire you, inspire me, inspire and make Krishna also happy. So ultimately we have to make him happy. We have to make our gurus happy, right? That will happen if we are putting some efforts and sincerity in this process.